Powell recommends an extension for unemployment benefits. Positive news on the fight against COVID-19 out of England. Tencent looks to invest in IQIYi, and Spotify continues its podcast spending spree. This is a Civil Reports Weekly Review where we take a look at the headlines that move the markets during the week and all things investment related. On Monday, the markets continued last Friday's push up. The Dow closed up 157 points, the S&P 500 closed up 25 points, and the Nasdaq closed up 137 points. But the day started out rough with the Dow down more than 700 points. An announcement by the Federal Reserve that it would begin purchasing individual corporate bonds as a part of its emergency lending program sparked buying in the markets and helped to erase the losses from earlier in the day. On June 13th, China reported its largest daily increase of COVID-19 cases since mid-April, and in the US, infections were increasing in California, Florida, and Texas. Hertz filed to issue $500 million of stock despite filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in May. And Walmart and Shopify announced that they are teaming up to make the Walmart marketplace available to Shopify's 1 million plus sellers. On Tuesday, markets continued their move up off of better than expected retail data. The Dow closed up 525 points, the S&P 500 closed up 58 points, and the Nasdaq closed up 169 points. U.S. retail sales jumped 17.7% in May, better than the 8.5% increase forecasted by economists. In addition, U.S. industrial production rose 1.4% in May. News came out of England that the steroid dexamethoasone can save lives in people severely ill with COVID-19, according to results from a UK-led clinical trial. Scientists believe the drug could be a major breakthrough. The positive news on the fight against COVID-19 was also a good signal to investors, especially after Beijing ordered all schools to close, canceled flights to Beijing, and restricted people's movements in an effort to contain a second wave of the coronavirus in China. In other news out of China, Tencent approached IQIYi's parent company Baidu to buy a stake in IQIYi, normally referred to as the Netflix of China. A deal could help Tencent become China's dominant online entertainment provider. IQIYi's shares jumped on the news. In earnings news, Oracle reported an EPS beat by 5 cents, but a revenue miss by $240 million. Revenue was down 6% year over year. Oracle stated revenue was impacted by the pandemic, which caused clients to postpone purchases. On Wednesday, the Dow's 3-day rally came to an end. The market sold off in the last hour of trading, causing the Dow to close down 170 points, the S&P 500 to close down 11 points, but the Nasdaq did close up 14 points. Investors' concerns regarding an uptick in coronavirus cases played a part in bringing the market down on Wednesday. Arizona, Nevada, and Oregon experienced spikes in coronavirus cases as of Wednesday's count. Jerome Powell's second day in front of Congress came with a recommendation to extend unemployment benefits. Hertz postponed its $500 million stock offering because the offering is under SEC review. The $500 million worth of stock would have been next to worthless since the company has already filed bankruptcy, but with the way the markets are now, who knows, they may have been able to find buyers. McDonald's reported same-store sales in the U.S. were down 5% in May and dropped 29.8% for the quarter as of May 31st. Still, the May numbers were an improvement over April's numbers. And Nikola had an interesting trading day. The stock received its first rating with a buy recommendation from Cowen analyst Jeffrey Osborne. Osborne put a $79 price target on the stock. Bloomberg, however, reported that Nikola CEO Trevor Milton exaggerated the capabilities of its debut truck, the Nikola One. On Thursday, markets closed mixed, with the Dow closing down 39 points, the S&P closing up nearly 2 points, and the Nasdaq closing up 32 points. Investors continue to be indecisive as coronavirus cases increase throughout the country. Also, we got the unemployment report that 1.5 million people filed for unemployment benefits last week. But the good news was the number of people seeking continued payment to decrease, indicating that people are heading back to work. Spotify had a big day after signing Kim Kardashian West to an exclusive podcast deal where she'll tackle criminal justice. The stock has been on a run since acquiring Bill Simmons' The Ringer, Joe Rogan's Joe Rogan Experience, and now Kim Kardashian West's podcast. In earnings news, Carnival Cruise Line reported a GAAP net loss of $4.4 billion or $6.07 per share for Q2 2020. Total revenue came in at $700 million, down from the $4.8 billion in revenue it reported in Q2 2019. And Kroger reported an EPS beat by 8 cents and a revenue beat by $630 million. Revenue was up 11.5% year over year. Same-store sales were up 19% during the quarter, beating analysts' expectations of 13%. On Friday, markets struggled to hold on to early gains and closed mixed again, with the Dow closing down 208 points, the S&P 500 closing down 17 points, and the Nasdaq closing up 3 points. Some news that moved the markets down came from the World Health Organization, the WHO believes the pandemic is entering a new and dangerous phase. Also on Friday, we had a quadruple witching where single stock options, single stock futures, stock index options, and stock futures all expired on the same day. And then there was Apple, who announced it would close some stores due to an increase in coronavirus cases in some states. Apple's stock dropped slightly on the news. Overall, the markets were up slightly from last week. The Dow was up 1% on the week, the S&P 500 was up 1.8% on the week, and the Nasdaq was up 3.7% on the week. In earnings news, CarMax reported an EPS beat by 9 cents and a revenue beat by $570 million. Revenue dropped 40% year over year, used vehicle unit sales declined by 39.8% year over year, and comparable store sales were down 41.8% year over year. In crypto news, Bitcoin continued its fade from the $10,000 level. Bitcoin was down less than 1% on the week and closed our week out at $9,335.09. Ethereum closed the week out at $229.34, down 3% from last week. Litecoin was down 3.4% and closed out our week at $43.21. And Ripple was down a penny on the week and closed the week out at 18 cents. Crude oil closed the week out at $39.65 per barrel, up 8% from last week's close. A big winner for the week was Alpine Immune Services, ALPN, which jumped 224% after signing a licensing deal with AbbVie for its ALPN 101 drug. A big loser for the week was CryoLife, CRY, the cardiovascular surgery company, lost 18% of its value during the week. That's a wrap for this week's market review. If you want to dig deeper into the headlines we covered, the links to the stories are in the description below. And a link to sign up to our weekend article in Focus is also in the description below. And if you're ready to get serious about investing and creating wealth for yourself and your family, check out our latest quarterly newsletter, The Seville Report. It's serious investment ideas presented in a way that experienced and novice investors can understand. If you're ready to master the markets, check out our newsletter at SevilleReport.com. Thanks again for checking out the Seville Report's market review. This channel is dedicated to anyone who wants to start investing but doesn't know how or where to start. If you have any questions, ask in the comment section, like and subscribe, and may your next investment be your best investment. See you next week.